Hi, I'm Dave McGrath, and it's December 1st, 2015, Giving Tuesday. But today, instead of giving money, I thought I'd give you my story, and hopefully someone out there watching can learn from me. I grew up in Westboro, Massachusetts, part of a hockey-loving family. Grew up watching the Bruins, playing pond hockey and street hockey. And hockey players, we pride ourselves on being tough and having a high pain tolerance, which I do, and I did when I was younger, but it did not serve me well. I was around 12 years old, and I started experiencing symptoms that were really embarrassing and painful, and I didn't want to tell anyone about them. Now I'm going to tell all of you about them. I started having diarrhea and cramping, abdominal pain. Sometimes there was even blood when I went to the bathroom, and I just dealt with it. I would have good days and bad days, and good weeks and bad weeks, and I put up with it for 2 years. Until finally, when I was a freshman in high school, the pain got so bad I couldn't even stand up straight. And at that point I said, I should probably see a doctor because I can't even stand up straight. So I went to the doctor. I didn't tell him all my other symptoms or how long they had been going on. I just said, it hurts right here. And he said, oh, it's probably just indigestion. Just watch what you eat and it should get better. And that's exactly what I wanted him to tell me. I didn't want to hear there might be something serious going on. So I went home. It didn't get better. It got worse. It got so bad, my parents called a neighbor of ours who was a doctor, Dr. Bob, and Dr. Bob came and examined me, and he said, I think your appendix is about to burst. You need to go to the ER tonight. So my parents took me to the ER, and the surgeons opened me up to take my appendix out, but they found it wasn't my appendix causing all the issues. It was my intestines. They were basically rotting away. I had holes in my intestines. They removed 1.5 feet of my small and large intestines, and I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Now, if you've never heard of Crohn's or want to know more about Crohn's, you should go to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America website. They're a great organization. I actually volunteered for them this summer at this place called Camp Oasis. They have them all over the country. It's a camp for kids with Crohn's and colitis. I would never wish Crohn's on anyone. It's a tough disease to deal with. A lot of people have multiple surgeries and hospitalizations. I've been lucky. I've been only hospitalized once since I was diagnosed, and I've found the right balance of diet, medication, and exercise, and I pretty much have my Crohn's under control. And in a way, it was good that I had that experience with Crohn's when I was a freshman, because 3 years later, when I was a senior in high school, I started having different symptoms. This time it was headaches and double vision. Instead of waiting like I did with my Crohn's symptoms, I went to the doctor right away. I thought maybe something was wrong with my contact lenses, so I went to my eye doctor and he didn't know what was wrong with me. He referred me to another doctor who didn't know. Finally, the third doctor I saw, and this is all within a week of my symptoms starting, he could tell something was wrong. He wasn't sure what was causing it. And my mother and I were literally walking out of his office, and my mother said, should we call you if his headaches get worse? And he looked at my chart like, headaches? Like he didn't know. I was only having 2 symptoms. He should have known them both, which is something you can learn from me. Make sure your doctor knows everything that's going on and how long it's been going on when you go to visit your doctor. So as soon as my mom said that, he ordered a CAT scan, and they found a tumor in the middle of my brain that was pushing on my optic nerve. Shocking news when you're 18 and someone tells you you have a brain tumor. So they weren't sure if it was cancerous, so I was in and out of the hospital for a few weeks getting blood drawn and tests done, which is never fun being in the hospital and doing that stuff, but when you're faced with a serious medical condition, it's just part of life. You gotta do it. So they still weren't sure what it was. They were actually gonna do a biopsy on me. I met with the surgeon, with my parents. He said he was going to cut in the back of my neck and go up and take a chunk of my tumor out, and they were going to see what kind of tumor it was. Well, I lucked out. It was a few days before my surgery. They found a marker in my blood, which told them that it was cancerous. Really shocking news when you're 18 for someone to tell you you have brain cancer. The funny part about my diagnosis was that even though the tumor was in the middle of my brain, it was the same kind of cells as testicular cancer, proving what my brothers and sisters had been saying all along was true. I was a dickhead. I had biological proof. I think they said it so often it actually happened. But the important part of my story is not that I'm a dickhead, it's that because I didn't wait, I got to start treatment early, and I've been cancer-free for over 20 years now because of that. And treatment wasn't fun. Before I started my treatment, the doctor said I was going to need chemotherapy followed by radiation. And the day I started my chemo, Dr. Bob, who helped me with my Crohn's, he came into my room and he told me about studies he had read that said patients who use visualization have higher success rates. So every time I got my chemo, I closed my eyes and pictured the chemo traveling through my veins up into my brain and attacking my tumor. After I was done my chemo, my doctor said, "We don't know why, but you don't need radiation." So I was done with my treatment. As a cancer survivor, I feel it's my duty to fight back against this horrible disease, which is why I'm involved with a few cancer-fighting organizations. I work for the American Cancer Society at this place called Hope Lodge in Worcester, Massachusetts. Hope Lodge provides free rooms to cancer patients and their caregivers while the patient is undergoing treatment in local hospitals. There's around 30 Hope Lodge locations all over the country, and if you want to find out more about these Hope Lodges, here's the link. I also started my own nonprofit called Skating for Hope, which is 24 hours of skating and hockey, and it helps cancer patients who are in the middle of treatment. We've helped both patients at Hope Lodge and the Neely House. I also volunteer as a speaker for the 1540 Connection. 1540 is dedicated to promoting awareness of early cancer detection because most cancers, if they're caught in stage 1 or 2, your success with treatment is much higher than if it's caught in a later stage. Here's the 1540 website. Whether you're passionate about cancer fighting organizations or Crohn's fighting organizations, on Giving Tuesday, I urge you to give to one of these or even start your own organization. I think the key to beating disease, whether it's cancer or Crohn's, is for all these disease-fighting organizations to come together. So I hope you learned something from me, and I hope in some way you can give on Giving Tuesday. Thanks.